Yo, what is up guys, my name's Hakiii and here's an updated version of the best supercars in GTA Online. We're going to be factoring in looks, customization, and most importantly performance. And instead of going from 10th best to 1st best, these are going to be in no particular order and there isn't a lot of margin between them anyway. Beginning with the Progen Emirates, it's a very nice car to drive around. It's got a great balance of both traction and speed. Kind of surprising if you ask me, just because it's a bit of a larger supercar. It's a bit taller than some other ones, but it still has amazing traction and handling is very good overall. It's consistently been at the top tier of supercars in GTA Online, probably one of the best options for racing. Performance is amazing, but then when it comes to the looks, I'm not the biggest fan of the look of this car, but that's just me. It does make up for it with some decent customization, but personally I wouldn't buy this car for the looks of it, but more for the awesome performance. The pros and cons of this vehicle are super obvious, I feel like. Again, a lot of people don't like the looks, but for a non-HSW upgradable vehicle, this is actually one of the fastest supercars out there. The $2.75 million price tag is a little overpriced if you ask me, but if you have a lot of money, you should definitely consider getting this one. Moving on to one of my favorite looking vehicles in the entire game, the Turismo Omaggio. We really don't have too many Ferrari based options in GTA Online for supercars, and it's kind of a shame because they're some of the best looking cars out there, and this one looks really similar to the real life version. If you want to make it look as realistic as possible, definitely go for a bright red paint job with a little bit of white in there. The highlight of this car for me is the looks of it, but it's also amazing in performance. It's a great all-arounder vehicle. From all aspects, I mean, it's got a decent amount of customization options. The looks are literally out of this world. Pretty easy handling along with a fast top speed. It's hard to find something to complain about with this car just because it's got so many good things about it, besides a bit of a steep price coming in at just over $2.8 million. So it is expensive, but you're getting a great car for the money. And speaking of a good car for the money, I'm going to include a bit more of a budget friendly option with the Dubachi Vagner. Now, it's not super cheap, but it is significantly cheaper than most of the top tier supercars, sitting at about 1.5 million. It's really not that bad of a price, and it's one of the best bang for your buck vehicles you can get in this game. It lacks a little bit in acceleration, but the top speed is great once you actually get faster and faster. Easy to handle, and it's got a very unique look to it. One of the most unique looking supercars we have in GTA 5. The spoiler on the back looks awesome, and there's a couple of really cool customization options when you take it into Los Santos Customs. If you need even more of a budget friendly option, definitely go for the Zentorno. I guess that'll be like an honorable mention on this list, but both the Vagner and the Zentorno are probably the best value supercars in the game. Next up is one of the best sounding vehicles in GTA 5. It's got such a nice engine sound, the XA21. I really don't get why Rockstar doesn't give more amazing engine noises like the XA21 has. It's such a satisfying sound, and it's not even the highlight of this vehicle. The highlight of it is definitely the traction. It's such a smooth car to drive. Now, it's worth knowing it's not the greatest car to choose for races, so if you're gonna buy it, don't use it for racing, but use it more for just cruising around free roam or taking it to car meets, just anything casual like that, just because it doesn't have quite the top speed like the top tier ones. It's one of the smaller and more narrow supercars we have compared to others. I also really like the active retractable spoiler it has on the back. The two downsides of this car, as we mentioned, one is the top speed. The second one is the price of it, coming in at $2.375 million. I do think that's a bit overpriced. Regardless, you should still buy this one if you have a lot of money. One of my favorite cruising cars to use in GTA Online. We talked a bit about traction in this video so far, but nothing compares to the LM87. This car has the best traction I've seen. Also one of the best options to use for racing in general, but the highlight definitely the traction. It's almost stuck to the road, kind of comparable to F1 cars, which is absolutely ridiculous because it's a supercar. And on top of the glued to the road level traction, it's also very fast, both in acceleration and top speed. Very good for going around corners, just because once again it really does not spin out often because it's glued to the road. Amazing performance. I also really like the looks of it. I feel like it's kind of a hit or miss with the looks just because it's got like that retro supercar look and not everyone likes that, but it's very unique. I definitely see the style in it, and it even has good customization options, a nice selection of liveries, some cool spoiler options, and there really isn't any complaints about this vehicle. It's amazing in every category besides the steep price of it, which is honestly expected with such a good car that has so much to offer. $2.9 million for this one, probably the fastest or at least one of the fastest non-HSW supercars. This next one one is an absolute rarity because you can get it for absolutely free. So the OCElot Virtue is an electric supercar that's a Monitech upgradable, meaning it's a very safe car to drive in. No one can lock onto you with homing missiles as long as you equip the missile lock-on jammer upgrade in the agency. This automatically makes it a very good car for free roam just because you don't have to worry about weaponized vehicles chasing after you. And how you unlock it for free is very simple. Just go to the R icon in Sandy Shores and complete the first and last dose missions. Then after completing the final last dose mission, you're gonna get directed to a location near Eclipse Towers, and then you could just go and pick up your brand new OCElot Virtue, which originally costs over $2 million, but everyone can get it for free this way. It's got the most ridiculous acceleration you've seen on a car in GTA Online. It probably goes 0 to 60 in like half a second or something like that. Just by this gameplay, you can probably tell it starts going really fast, really quickly. Usually with electric cars that have really good acceleration, the traction isn't that great, but with the Virtue, it's okay. It's not the greatest, but it's definitely doable. When driving it around, it does feel like a bit of a light car. That's the only thing I could really point out. That's not the greatest about it, but overall, it's a great car and you can get it for free, so it's kind of a no-brainer to get it. The Benefactor Creger is up next, and it has been and still is my go-to car for racing. Amazing balance between speed and traction. It's a very easy to handle car. I find it to be a very reliable car, and ever since it came out a couple years ago, I just haven't switched to any other car for racing, even though there's other good options, but I just decided to stick with this one. And around the track, it's got one of the fastest lap times in the supers class with non-HSW vehicles, that is, of course. $2,875,000 for this one. Another steep price, but you're getting a great car for racing in specific. The weaponized Ignis is an HSW upgradable vehicle, meaning you can put enhanced performance upgrades on it, so it's technically in the supers class, but I mean, it does get a clear advantage with enhanced performance upgrades, so naturally this one's gonna be usually faster than your average supercar for sure. And not only is it a fast supercar, but it's also weaponized. Of course, it's in the name, the weaponized Ignis, so it's got a turret on the top of it, which is extremely powerful. Shooting any unarmored vehicle, you can blow it up within a few seconds. It's actually a freaking tank. You never really see weaponized supercars like this. This is a freaking rarity, and it's a really expensive vehicle, but you're getting a lot for it at the same time. It's by far the most expensive car on this list. I mean, $4.5 million for the weaponized Ignis, plus you have the HSW upgrades. That would probably take you over $5 million spent total, so it's a lot of money for this one, only for the proper rich, I would say. Another electric option is the Cyclone II HSW, so it's another HSW upgradable vehicle, and it also has insanely fast acceleration like the OCElot Virtue. I want to say the Virtue and the Cyclone II are the two fastest accelerating land vehicles in the game. If you can think of anything that's faster than these, let me know in the comments, but I don't think so. I think these are the top two. I'm typically someone that likes a good handling car. This one's a small exception. The handling with the Cyclone II is a bit iffy. The insanely fast acceleration makes it a bit hard to handle when going at high speeds. I mean, maybe it's because I'm not the greatest driver and I tend to crash a lot with this car, or maybe it's the car that's actually just a struggle to handle for a lot of players. To buy the Cyclone II in the first place, it's going to run you about $2.25 million, and then after all the HSW upgrades and all the customization, it's probably going to be over $3 million spent. Plus, if you play on current gen, then you can also use this car to complete the HSW time trial. That gets you over $250,000, so this is one of the best vehicles to use for that time trial because it's so fast. Then we have one of the cleanest looking supercars in the game with a really unique feature with the pop-up headlights. Pressing right or left on the D-pad, whichever it is, you can actually make the headlights go up and down. Really neat little animation that Rockstar did with this car. Another nice and unique thing about it is the stock wheels. I typically am not a huge fan of the stock wheels of vehicles in GTA Online, but these are actually really unique and they do look pretty freaking cool. Everything with speed is fantastic with this car, and it handles decently as well. Just under a $2.9 million price tag for this one. A bit overpriced if you ask me, but there's so many overpriced vehicles in GTA Online these days that I don't know how much it matters anymore. If you found this video helpful, drop a like on it and subscribe if you're new to the channel for more awesome videos like these that you do not want to miss. And click the video on screen now for an updated best off-road vehicles in GTA Online. I hope you all enjoy that video, and peace.